Yes, guys, Ryjack back for another Man City video. Today we're looking at the Nottingham Forest preview for the game tomorrow morning. It's a 12:30 kickoff over in the UK, 7:30 Eastern time for me, and I will be doing a live watch along for the game, so do come back to the channel, hang out with me, watch it, chop it up in the chat as we like to do. Those are always very fun and interactive, and I always read the chat. So do come hang out if you are free. Now, before we do start, I want to say thank you guys for the support. We are past 750 subs on the channel, which is really cool. If you are new, hit that sub button, like, comment, all the good stuff there, and check out my Discord in the channel description if you want to join. So let's talk about Nottingham Forest. We are facing Sean Dyche Ball. Man, it's very different than if they had kept Ange Postecoglou and we would be playing Ange Ball, or if they had kept Nuno and we'd be playing Nuno Ball. It's weird. They're on their third manager of the season. Mr. Marinakis does not mess around with his manager. That's not surprising. I'll say that. A notable thing, probably maybe not the most thing I'm looking forward to, but we will get a good first-hand look at Elliot Anderson, the potential Man City summer signing, valued at between 80 and 100 million pounds, is what I roughly hear on Twitter, on X. And I don't know if he's quite worth that much, but City love him. Apparently, they want him more than Adam Morton. Of course, Morgan Gibbs-White was a target last summer, but it looks like Anderson will be one of the main guys we check out in summer to potentially add to the squad. Maybe he is the Bernardo Silva replacement. That's very, very possible in my opinion. As far as the rest of the Forest squad, I know they're not having a fantastic season. I mean, if you look at the table, they're all the way down in 17th. So you'd probably think, what an easy game. That's an easy W for City. It's not really the case. Since Dyche has come in, they are, I would say, improved. They're playing more pragmatic. They're not trying to do things they can't do, like Postecoglou was having them do. You have Sells in goals, who was one of the best keepers in the season last year. Murillo and Milenkovic were, maybe the top center back pairing in defense last year in the Prem. Nico Williams is good. Savona's all right. Douglas Luiz was at one point potentially a City target. If you remember back last January, there was a lot of talk about him coming on loan to City. That didn't happen, but, we'll see Douglas Luiz once again. Elliot Anderson, like I have mentioned. Morgan Gibbs-White, we know he's a quality player. Callum Hudson-Odoi has a goal in him from time to time. A decent left winger. Omari Hutchinson, another pretty solid player. And Igor Jesus, who was actually really good in the Summer Club World Cup. Maybe hasn't been quite as good for Forest so far this year. Only one goal in 800 minutes, which is not great, but he can score. I've seen him play in the Club World Cup. I thought he was pretty good. They do have some interesting omissions from the squad. Ola Aina was a right back that was linked to City for some time, before Nunez started improving as he has. He's out. Ryan Yates is out. Chris Wood, their goal scorer, out as well. And they have a couple of players at AFCON like we do. Willy Bolly, gone. And Ibrahim Sangare, who's actually a solid player, also gone to international duty at AFCON. Of course, we are without Omar Marmoush, Ryan Nori. Then we have a good long list of injuries. Like you guys know, John Stones is still out. Kovacic still out. Rodri, Doku, and Bob still out, injured at the moment. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players unavailable. 7 first-team players unavailable for selection. And it kind of limits what we can do in terms of a starting lineup. To be honest, I think it'll probably be something pretty similar to this. But before we do my lineup prediction that I'll build here with you guys, I do want to say City are playing extremely good at the moment. I mean, 5 wins on the bounce in the Premier League. I know a couple of them were a bit nervy, the 3-2 against Leeds, the 5-4 against Fulham. But bar those two, it's been really nice. City 3-0 over Sunderland. City 3-0 over Palace. City 3-0 over West Ham. Hard to argue with those results. 5 wins on the bounce in the Premier League. And I think it's 7 in all comps. 7 in all comps. 2 points back from Arsenal, who do have Brighton, which could be a tricky game. It's, they're in ninth. Arsenal not in the best form, but I would still expect them to probably win the match, but you never know. Brighton sometimes show up and are a very, very difficult side to play against. So anyway, head-to-head wise for City and Forest, it's been pretty dominant for City, and we haven't played a ton because they really haven't been in the Premier League that long. But we've only, I believe, lost once to them, and that was last year during our really poor run of games. So it is what it is. The Forest beat us 1-0 last year, and that was their best season in years. Anyway, let's take a look at the lineup here. I have this filled in automatically based on who I think is a bang-on starter. No discussion needed, really. Haaland, of course, will start the game. Nico G, of course, will start the game. The back line will remain consistent, in my opinion. Nico O'Reilly, Josko Vardiol, Ruben Dias, Mateus Nunes, and Donnarumma in goal. The back line has been particularly good. I would say really kind of carried by the leadership of Ruben Dias. I've been very, very pleased with his performances this season, and he's probably been one of the best 3 or 4 players for City this year, Ruben Dias. Nunes as well, really making the right back spot his own, making people question, should we even buy a right back in the summer? I'm not sure. Maybe we buy a young one who can be Mateus Nunes' understudy and learn from the position from him versus buying someone who's a direct competitor for that spot. I don't know. That's still to be decided. I think Nunes gets the rest of the season to prove he can do this long term. Nico O'Reilly, left back, has been fantastic, of course. He's been maybe City's best player this season, bar Haaland, of course. Nico G has to play. Still no Rodri, still no Kovacic. Maybe Mateus Nunes can spare him some minutes there at times, but I don't know that Nunes is ready to start a full game in the midfield. Nico G plays, in my opinion, personally. Now, you have a couple of options here for these 4 positions, and it's really between 5 players because the bench is so lackluster at the moment, and the injuries don't really let us do a whole lot of chopping and changing like we may want to do, even though Pep has been pretty ruthless with the starting 11. They've been pretty consistent this year, at least in the past month and a half or so. The one player that I do think will miss out on starting is Savinho. Probably Savinho doesn't see the field from the off. So I'd go Foden, and I know I put him in this left wing position, but he's not really a left winger. In all honesty, in the system, he'll come inside much further, and Nico O'Reilly will basically be the pseudo left winger in this system. This spot right here is going to be Tijani Reinders, and I don't remember off the top of my head if this is the exact same 11 from the previous game against West Ham. If it is, it makes sense to me because I just don't know what else we can really do with the players we have available, in all honesty. Cherky is the right winger, although he doesn't really play right wing either. It's almost a pack the midfield system where these players will come inside much further, and the fullbacks will be able to bomb up and down the flanks and in a way be overlapping fullbacks, where these wide players are not actually, they're not touchline wingers. They're not boots on the chalk. That's just not the system we're playing at the moment. I would love to be able to play Omar Marmoush, play Oscar Bob, but Bob is injured, likely leaving. As of news today, it looks like he's leaving in January if that Semenyo deal gets done, which I believe it will get done. And unfortunately, that could be the end of Oscar Bob at Manchester City, which breaks my heart in a way. But I also understand this is not Player FC. This is Man City FC. This is what it's about. It's about the badge. It's not about individual players. So while I am personally upset that Bob is not going to make it here, I understand and I want the best for the club. And I think that's a view that most of the fans should have. When I post transfer videos of players being linked away, sometimes I get, if this player leaves, I will not support Man City anymore. And it's like, I don't know, guys. I love certain players as well, but most of all, I love the club. I love the club, number one. And I think that's what's most important. So, like I said, this is the 11 I am going with. We have had a nice break, a week off from playing. There was the Christmas break where they got some rest as well, not having to particularly go to training. Anyway, with that being said, I would expect a City win. I do think it'll be a difficult one, probably. So maybe a 2-0, a 2-1, something like that, because Forest are scrappy. DYCHE is not going to lay down and just take it. He is going to have them fighting for the points. So that's what I think, a 2-1, 2-0, but I do expect a City win, and hopefully Arsenal drop points as well, and we can catch up on them, gain some ground. If not, season is still long, many opportunities. Like I said, I will be doing a live watch along here on the channel, so do come check it out. On your way out, leave a like and a comment, of course. Let me know your thoughts on the lineup and the overall feel of Man City at the moment. Are you excited for January as well? Because I'm excited. I love Antoine Semenyo, and I'm very excited for that potential deal. But anyway, that is all for the preview. I will see you guys in the live stream tomorrow. Have a good one.